This time, we're updating the front end on the Chevette. We are replacing spindles, we're replacing hubs, rotors, brake calipers, brake caliper mounts. We got slotted rotors, slotted and drilled rotors. We have all kinds of neat stuff. We'll be right back. Hey Chevette Nation, welcome back. Like I said, we're doing all kinds of front end stuff over here. I've even got shocks buried back in the corner. I should probably get them out. I don't have the springs yet. Josh has them sitting out. I just need to get over there to Springfield to go get them. Let's move in over here and see what we got. Now, if I'm not mistaken, most of this is going to go on with little to no modifications. I got a little thing in the back of my head saying there might be a modification to a ball joint, but we'll find out. So, this kit, not really a kit yet, but whatever. This setup, I'm using the front spindles off of a 62 Chevy Nova. Right here. I believe that's from Speedway. I'm going to have links of all of this stuff, or at least not necessarily links, but part numbers and maybe some links. I don't know, whatever. I'll have stuff in the description. So I've got the 62 Nova Chevy 2 spindles. Then, this is from All-Star Performance. I believe this was from Speedway. Again, I'll have links and stuff. What this is a steering arm for a Mustang 2. It's going to bolt on right there. I actually think it's on the other side, we'll find out. But it gets bolted on like that, and then the tie rod end comes here and turns the spindle. After that, we've got these hubs. Very, very generic GM, old school drum brake hub. Just remember 69 Camaro. That's all you need to know. 69 Camaro with drum brakes. That'll get you these. They're cheap. They're reproduced, made in China, and I mean, you can get a whole set for like, I think it was like $80. It could have been a lot less. It's been quite a while since I bought this. It comes with the two hubs and all these bearings and stuff. I got inner, outer bearings. I got oil seals, grease seals, whatever. Grease caps. I've got the washer. I've got the castle nut and even the cotter pins. I've got everything I need here except for the grease. So that'll get spindle and hub bolted to the car. Then we need to figure out brakes. These are off of, I believe, a 2001 Grand Am. All the other GM clones of the Grand Am. Again, I'll have an application in the description. I bought these, got loaded calipers, so I got the bracket that bolts on to the spindle for the caliper slide on too. So I've got brake pads. We're getting rid of these rotors. And I'm putting on these bad boys. These are for a front wheel drive car, right? It's not a 5-on-4 75 bolt pattern. For some reason, they make the holes so big whoa. Start machining it. And yes, by machining, I mean grinder. And definitely put on your safety glasses this time. So one last thing before you start grinding on here. Your other hub, you need to make sure that that is covered up at the very minimum. Better yet, tape it off. Or put it somewhere else. This metal is going to get airborne and it's going to cover everything in here. I've got it locked down. I've got the machining machines ready to go. Let's do it. Now you want to stop and check your work frequently. And here's why. You only have so much room here to grind. because look at how little bit of space there's between that stud and the edge. Okay, so you don't want to go too far. That's not good. There we go. That's how you want it to look, right there. Boom. All the way through, all the way in. Now, so like what I was trying to say earlier, even though the Grand Am has a different bolt pattern, you notice how big and sloppy those holes are. Look how much room there is around those studs. And technically, you'll get a little bit of slop back and forth, but it won't be enough to do any damage. Got to remember, you're going to have lug nuts on there, torqued down to 11 billion foot-pounds, all the ugga-duggas you can give it, and if it moves, it's going to be minimal. So that's what you need to do. Now I get to do it all again. Terrific. So this is after grinding both of those two hubs. Remember I said there was going to be metal shavings everywhere? Look at all this. Yeah, there we go. These hubs actually have standard lug nuts, or studs, whatever. And the car's got metric studs all around. The rear end that I put in there has them, and plus I need longer studs anyways. So I've got these replacement studs. I think they're for a Hummer, H1 I think, maybe H2, I don't know. Again, I'll look it up. But these are longer and they are metric. So I need to start with hammering these out and putting those in. Check it out. And you just pound these suckers out. Like so. Rinse and repeat. Wear gloves. Safety's important. Don't hit your hand. Ooh. Got another problem here again. Son of a bitch. So doing the studs, we ran into a problem. This is the lug that we're supposed to be using, and it doesn't fit. Get out the micrometer, and you see, okay, these splines, then you see a smooth section right there before this head. That's where you want to measure. So I get on here, and I get in that spot. Yeah, right there. And it comes out to 1/2 inch, 0.5. So just for shits and giggles, or shiggles, I'm going to check and see what size these are. I really don't need to know. All I need to know is what I need for this. But, like I said, just for shiggles, it is somewhat south of 1/2 inch. So, breaking out the drill bits, this only goes up to 1/2 inch, and hopefully this is the right one. Yes, 1/2 inch. All right, you guys know what I got to do. I'm going to do one and see how that goes. See if I've got to go down a size. According to science, we should be good. This is actually just a tick too loose. Yeah, you can see it. It's rocking a little bit, and that's with it tapped all the way in. So I'm going to drop it down one size, like 1/64. 31/64. I'll do one and then see how that works, just like I did here. That's not going to be a huge deal, but it's not ideal. You're still going to have the lug nut pinching down on it, pulling it that way through the hub. So the whole time that lug nut's on there, it's going to be holding it in place. You just don't want them loose. that's just snug. It's not quite loose. Okay, so that was really easy with the 31/64 drill bit. It felt like I was just shaving it. I went ahead and started this one, and you see it went halfway in and it started bogging down. So that needs hammered in, which is exactly how it's supposed to be. And it's actually taking a little bit of pounding to get it in. Now I'm using this to keep from damaging this. We're on top of my toolbox right here. So now I just got to hammer in 4 more. So I've got the second hub done now. I got it machined, grinded. I've got the studs all in, and I'm setting them all the way. I'm going to go ahead and pound them into submission. Where'd it go? This gets it in most of the way. This small baby vise, it won't drive them in all the way. What I'm doing here, a spacer, big nut, a big washer, and a lug nut backwards. You want to put it on backwards so that this flat side is up against that washer. But you just set that in there, crank it down, and then full ooga doogas. All of them are in all the way. This is a good time to stop and decide what you're going to do. You probably want to paint your hub. Probably want to paint just this part of your rotor, and then maybe this. Mine, it's not going to be a race car. It's going to be a street car, race car. And it's just going to be driven around on the streets, race car. I'm not painting any of this. Race car. It's another box I get to throw into the recycling bin. And don't forget all your metric lug nuts. These are free at the junkyard. I got all these stupid cheap free. But this is ready. It's a beautiful thing. The disadvantage to seating the studs with a lug nut and an impact is that your lug nut becomes sacrificial. That's been ooga dooga'd to death. I think now we start looking at putting the spindle on the car. Here we got the spindle. You got the upper ball joint, which bolts right here. That's the top of it. And then the lower ball joint is here, and the bolt is in here, the nut. Right here. And then also, we've got the tie rod end up here. This is what I'm replacing. And I suspect it'll be fairly easy. I've been up in here before. Long-time followers remember when I cut the coil spring and destroyed any ride quality at all. There was a cotter pin on this. I already took it off. Now you can use a pickle fork to separate all this, but really it's not a good idea because you will destroy every single boot that it touches. All you have to do, I just smacked it right here with the hammer. And you saw that. I hit it twice. Boom, boom, and then the tie rod end just fell out. There's really no reason to use a pickle fork unless it is just in there. Now, if this had a regular coil spring in it, a full-size coil, I would have a floor jack up underneath here. Because when that ball joint separates, all the energy from this coil pushing down is going to shoot this down. And that that spring may just jump out and say hi. And when it says hi, that means you're bleeding. But this one has no energy in it. Okay. Old cookie sheet. Set it down here to catch all the scrapings and nasty grease and grime. That way you don't walk in it inadvertently, of course, and track it in of the wife's carpet. Me and El Presidente have had that conversation. I don't like that conversation. There we go. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and separate the bottom one. You back off the nut, but you leave it on there. You can see it or not. It's right here. Yeah. So here's the nut, and I got it backed off. And it's going to shoot here any second. It's spinning the ball joint. Terrific. There we go. Nailed it. No energy. All right. Now let's see how bad this one's going to be. There we go. No pickle fork involved. That's worth its weight in scrap. Nobody wants this. Now, let's see if this fits. Look into that. And like I said, I may as well do the shock while I'm in there. 215 millimeter. Take that one off. What do you think? Win or fail? It's the original 43-year-old shock. Fail. Let me see something here. Ooh. Hold on. Let me see something here. Yes. All I had to do was reach down into the fender well and grab here. Because it was just spinning like this with the impact. Grab that and just shut it down. Original 1980 shock absorber. Worth its weight in scrap. Now here's the bummer. These front shocks, they're not available anymore. I think they've found some that work okay. But I got lucky and somebody on the Chevette page had a pair of new old stock front shocks. Gas charged radial shock absorber. It doesn't even have a brand except for gas charged. Product of Monroe Auto Equipment Company. They're trying to tell you to change them every 25,000 miles. You want to see something funny? Look at the car that they use on there for the advertisement. It's like an old Chrysler or something. Rear wheel drive, land yacht. It looks like it's the right shock. I'm going to clock it so this is facing out. Just because, why not? There we go. Beautiful. It's a thing of beauty. There we go. Nailed it. This was the point where I went inside of the house to go get the boy to go to bed. Then I also sat down with the iPad and tried to figure out how to solve the slop in the ball joint. And then I woke up around 5 o'clock in the morning with my head on the table, drooling on the iPad. You'll have that. So I went out, put my tools away. It was just way too late. And come to find out, I left the heater on, so now I'm out of kerosene. $6 a gallon. This is where we're stopping off for now. I should probably run out to Springfield and grab those springs too, so I can just button it up and be done. And then I also have to figure out the mounting brackets for the brake calipers. But that should be fairly easy. They do have a piece that you can get commercially, but it's not for this brake setup. If you want to go with the S10 or G-body 10-inch, maybe it's 10.5-inch front brakes, then they actually sell a piece that bolts right on, and everything just goes right on after that. But I already had the 11-inch stuff on hand, so I'm going to continue going that way, even though this is going to possibly be a headache right here. I'm hoping to be back out there this weekend. This weekend is Christmas. I've got a 4.5 day weekend, so I should have some time out there. Plus there'll be a what did I get for Christmas? I'm pretty sure I'm getting some stuff. So all that and more coming up next time. Do the like and subscribe and the bell, and we'll see you later.